What is up, everybody? It's Zach with Media Cows, bringing you guys a walkthrough for Pokemon Black and White. I'm going to be playing on Pokemon White, and no, it's not because I like whites better than blacks, it's just because that's the one that I have. In case you were wondering, Game Freak is still at it, still developing Pokemon games all the time, but now I'm going to shut up because there's a cinematic, and I'm going to let you guys enjoy it. Hope. Dreams. Barack Obama. No discoveries. I just want to get this out of the way real quick, guys. It'd mean a lot to me if you guys could like the video. It makes our video become more visible to other people. So if you hate the video, you don't need to like it, but I'd really appreciate if you guys liked it. A little bit about me and my love of Pokemon. I love Pokemon, and I've loved Pokemon since I was 10 or 11 when I first started playing Pokemon Red and Blue. But I haven't really played that many of the newer games just because I'm old and senile, and, well, there's just too many Pokemon now that I can't get my head around them all. And part of the reason why I loved it so much was the attachment with the different Pokemon, and they all had their different personalities. Gold and Silver were my favorite. You guys should post your favorite Pokemon games in the comments section. And also, I'm curious, as far as starters, what your favorite starters of all time are. Not just in this game. If you want to say what starter you get in this game, that's great. But what's your favorite starter of all time? My favorite is Bulbasaur, and it is what caused me to pick Grass Pokemon as my starter type for every Pokemon game I've ever played. I'm going to switch it up in this game, and I'm going to be picking the Water Pokemon, but I always picked Grass because I loved Bulbasaur so much. The thing you guys need to know about how I'm going to be doing names in this is I'm not picking my real name, Zach, but I'm going to be randomly generating the names for all my Pokemon, for my character, and hopefully there's actually some interesting names that come up. The name for my character here, after I struggled to actually type it in, is Leaf, which is kind of fitting because Leif Erikson was an explorer, and well, my character will be exploring the Pokemon region that he lives in. Ooh, I know it's a real difficult thing exploring the Pokemon region, but it's kind of fitting. Whatever. Hopefully there will be some awesome names that are generated, and these are the rivals. Charon and Bianca are the two rivals. They're your childhood friends, as, well, your rivals always are. The interesting thing here is that you cannot name your rivals. So in previous games, you would be able to put your best friend's name as your rival and beat them down in the Pokemon world. But in this case, they have set names that I can't find a way to change them or anything. I'm certain you're not going to be able to give them a nickname later on, but those are their names, Charon and Bianca. And that's Professor Juniper, the first female main professor in the game. One day in the Unova region of Pokemon Land. Here's a nice cinematic shot that they're trying to show off here, the new graphics of it, except for there's a lot of pixelated trees. That's Professor Juniper breaking and entering into your home, and she leaves very quickly. What happened there? Your home's the center of the town. That should be known, maybe. Maybe it's not very important. Anyways, this is your room, and there's your friend Charon with a gift left by Professor Juniper, which, as we all know at this point, it's the 3 starters Pokemon. I actually find it interesting that if your friends weren't there, could you just take the gift yourself and take all 3 starters Pokemon? That might be all of our dreams. Starting with all 3. That'd be awesome. So there's a little bit of conversation. Bianca's character is that she's a flake. She's a flake, a strong-willed flake, actually. She's late for everything. And, you know, we're going to be picking it shortly. Picking the starting Pokemon shortly. The starters are Oshawatt, Tepig, and Snivy. Oshawatt's the water Pokemon, Tepig is the fire Pokemon, and Snivy is the grass Pokemon. And, well, I felt like playing the Wii, I guess. Actually, I was just searching for potions. There aren't any potions in the room, like there are in some previous games. At least I don't think there are. So there's no reason to go searching about. But if you want to save before you get the Pokemon, by all means, go ahead and do that. The character Oshawatt is based on a bipedal sea otter. Tepig's a saddleback piglet, and Snivy is based on a green vine snake, and he kind of resembles a skink actually, because the snakes don't have legs, but Snivy does. Oshawatt's kind of the well-rounded character. He has a strong defense, strong attack, but doesn't really excel in either area. Tepig is a strong attack, that's his basis. Snivy has a low attack and a strong defense. The characters, well, Oshawatt doesn't have very many weaknesses against characters, and that's one reason that you might want to consider starting with Oshawatt like I did. He's down the line, he's going to have the fewest weaknesses, and he offers pretty good starting attacks. Level 7 Water Gun, level 17 he evolves and learns Razor Shell, which is a pretty nice attack. Tepig, he learns Flame Charge at level 15, he evolves at level 17. His focus is a high attack, and he's also really good once he evolves there. Snivy's probably the most difficult character to start out with, just because he has that low attack. Vine Whip at level 7, Leaf Tornado at level 16. Both of these battles, because you're going to be facing both of your friends here, because that's what friends do, they battle once they get their Pokemon to see which one has the best. You face Bianca first, and Bianca has the one that your Pokemon is strong against. So in this case I picked the water Pokemon, Oshawatt, so she picked Tepig, the fire Pokemon. And that doesn't really matter in this case at all, because all you have is Tackle and a Tail Whip, or Snivy has Leer, I believe. And that's it. You don't really actually need to employ any strategy. In fact, I would suggest not to. Don't do what I did there, maybe. I used Tail Whip because I thought maybe it would be effective here, and I did win the battle, because it's very hard to lose these opening battles, but you can really win with just doing Tackle. That's all you really need to do. In fact, I am on the verge of losing this, but this is why I'm actually curious. If any of you have lost the opening battles, you should comment, because I don't even know if it's possible. I'm sure it is possible if you just mess around, but it's very hard to do that, because in the end the trainer ends up screwing up and has you on the verge of defeat, but uses Tail Whip or Leer when they should just be attacking. You should win though, because you get money. You get 500, you're rich. You are rich if you win these battles. And you get some experience points. Your room's trashed at the end of it. I don't know how exactly 2 weak Pokemon trash an entire room with Tackle, unless they missed each other a lot. Apparently it's all Bianca's fault though with Tepig. Maybe Bianca was just trashing the room during the battle. Really though, the choice of the starting Pokemon comes down to your personal choice. You know, any of the Pokemon are going to be fine in the end, because you're going to catch a lot of other Pokemon. I actually do want to know if you guys stick with your starters throughout the entire game, or if you ditch them as early as possible, or you ditch them at some point in the game. Because generally I stick with the starter the whole game, just because I kind of get attached to them. So let me know if you end up just ditching your starting Pokemon after a certain point, because then it doesn't really make that much of a difference. Oshawatt makes it easy just because he has the fewest weaknesses, and he's well-rounded. It doesn't require any specialization on my part. Churn, well, you battle with the other Pokemon that has yet to appear yet. In this case, it's Snivy. So the strategy I used here, again, was largely because Snivy doesn't have a strong attack. But they're so equalized, and they have pretty much the same attacks, that there's no strategy that's needed in this battle as well. The characterizations, actually, of Snivy are that it's an intelligent Pokemon. Not really, he looks kind of snide, but it's an intelligent Pokemon that apparently when it's ill, its tail kind of goes down and isn't as upright. I don't know, just some random facts. Tepig's excitable, wags his tail like a dog, blows fire from its snout, except for when it's sick, then it blows smoke. And it cooks its food with the fire that it does. Some perhaps interesting facts about the starting Pokemon that maybe it'll affect your decision. Who knows? Maybe not. Maybe you don't care. Maybe you just can't wait to get your hands on a Pidove, the Pidgey of this game. I like these. I like the children. I may have been defeated, but I feel a little strange. I feel strangely powerful now that I have a Pokemon with me. And my room's trashed. But that's what a mom's for, right? To clean up all the messes that you make. By the way, he has a Wii hooked up to an HD TV. Wii's don't play in HD, so I don't really get, maybe, I mean, he could have cable, I guess, but a Wii hooked up to an HD TV, maybe it's time to upgrade to a 360 or PS3 with that TV. Pokemon Black and White takes place in a region called Unova. I think that might be how it's pronounced. The developers have said that it's kind of based on New York City, although it has both urban and rural areas, and like the opening said, it's autumn, and the season changes and affects the entire region. It'll be kind of anyone's guess here if it really does resemble New York City, since, well, the town that you grow up in, your hometown, Nuvema Town, it is pretty small townish. It doesn't resemble New York City at all. But the reason why it does have a lot of distinct new Pokemon that are of the focus here is not just because that's what people want, but because the region is far away from all the other regions. And evolution, people, evolution says that it's distinct new Pokemon. It's a pretty small house too. When we leave the house and leave our mom here, there's a bunch of Pidovs that fly away. And Pidovs are not smart Pokemon, and they always travel together, and in fact, Pidovs are based on rock pigeons. They're not really based on doves. On the house on the right is Charon's house, and the house on the left is Bianca's. Charon didn't go home, he went straight to the lab, because apparently he has nothing in his home waiting for him, but Charon had to go say hi to her parents. Or Bianca, I'm sorry. Bianca had to go say hi to her parents. And her father's refusing to allow her to go. You can tell because it has the angry spikes around the bubble. That's how you know anger in Pokemon. So he refuses to let her go, and yet she leaves anyway. So if these children really are 10 to 11, they're just completely disobeying their parents and leaving and going on adventures by themselves. Those are good role models, children. Leave home. Go on an adventure with Pokemon, despite your parents' objections. But that is a characterization that you're going to find later in the game, that Bianca is very strong-willed. She does not care what her parents have to say. She's going to go on this adventure no matter what. Nuvema Town, though, and again, pronunciation could be way off here, because I'm not the most informed about pronunciation, but the motto is the start of something big, and I suppose all small towns have something to strive for. But there's only 13 people that live in this town, 3 of which are you and your 2 friends who are leaving, so they're going to be down to 10. This is Professor Junipers Lab, and like I said, Professor Juniper, like all other professors, are named after a tree, Juniper being a tree, there's oak and etc. They're all named after trees, and she is the first main professor to be female in a Pokemon game. I mentioned that earlier, but women's rights, right folks? She's very strange. She starts to introduce herself, but we say that we already know who she is, and yet she goes through the introduction anyways. And I'm sure that was done because, well, you want to make sure that new players and less observant players know what's going on, but she's a very strange personality. Here you're going to see that Lawrence was the name that was randomly generated. So that's the first name that a Pokemon gets, so that's what it'll be referred to, Lawrence. Here we have Charon being a smartass. He's the Hermione Granger of the bunch. Knowing about the Pokedex already, Bianca is confused. And we're going to get a brief explanation of something that we all already know. Who doesn't know what a Pokedex is? Were they just handed a Pokedex? Because I've now watched this a couple times, and I played through, and I have yet to really notice if they got a Pokedex. I've only seen myself receive a Pokedex. I don't know that they actually receive one. And Route 1 being the first route. Gee, what a surprise there, right? We're not going to see Route 1 in this video. That'll be the next one. Now that Professor Juniper has given them permission, they can just disobey their parents and leave. Where is my father? There's never an explanation of my father. He must have went on a Pokemon adventure too. And the mom's always so supportive. I think that's one of the big reasons why I loved Pokemon so much when I was a kid, was just that sense of, I'm 10, 11 like the character. I'm gonna be independent and go on my own adventure without my parents. And my mom is even supportive of me. She wants me to go out there and make my mark on the world. I think that really actually touched me when I was playing this game and really had me wanting to continue, because I know I actually felt when I was that young, and you can call me immature, gay, whatever, when I was a kid, that I felt bad when I would leave my mom in the game. It for this video. I mean, it's just this conversation, and then we go to Route 1. Let's go. No, I'm not going. Instead, we're gonna go to hell. So if you guys want to see more videos, like the video, subscribe if you want to. If you don't, whatever. Doesn't bother me all that much. It does kind of, but if it doesn't get a lot of likes, if it doesn't get a lot of views, I'm not going to keep on doing Pokemon, because that's a lot of time investment for videos that maybe people aren't going to watch. Otherwise, that's it. We have 3 Pokemon in our Pokedex now, 0 gym badges, of course, and we're in New Vema Town, headed to hell.